All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the American Bowhunter, the official podcast of PSE. I am sitting down again with Mr. Bryan, back from, dude, you've been hunting a lot this year.
Well, so far.
Well, I mean, let's say you've been hunting the normal amount. You've just been wildly successful this year, is what I'll call it.
Well, different places, yes.
Different places.
It's really an eye opener. It's changed my whole perspective on everything.
What has changed your whole perspective?
The caliber of deer. Right?
Oh, yeah. So preface this, your main focus has always been Eastern North Carolina, right?
Because it's easy.
Well,
we live here.
Depend who you talk to. It's easy.
Well, no, it's easy. It's convenient because we live here,
yes,
right?
Yes.
This is the hardest hunting that I've done to include any other state, just because of the terrain, the heat, the bugs, the critters, everything else is just. I mean, I stomped through public land a couple weeks ago, and for 15 yards, my feet didn't touch the ground. I was trying to get to an oak bottom that I know where it's at, but I was playing the wind. But I was on top of a vine system that I was just pushing through. I had my pole saw with me. I had to lay it down on the vines and then crawl over them. I didn't touch the ground for 10, 15 yards, which is ridiculous. And it got to and it's so hot. I was just like, okay, this is ridiculous, me getting here. I'm going to bust everything out getting in. And then if I do harvest something, how am I going to get it out?
So I'm glad we have all the same questions, because when I get back in there, I'm like, what am I even doing? Like, sometimes I question myself. I'm like, man, this is more effort than it's worth.
Well, I mean, you really don't have to play the wind going out. Right. So there's other options. But getting a cart back there is not an option.
Dude, so yeah, that's one thing. Like, there's no getting a cart back to anywhere I hunt. I mean, you've got to drag that thing through the nastiest, and it's so inconvenient. It seems like always.
Yes. Well, and it's always going to be that way because the animal's going to run to where it feels the safest.
Right.
Away from us and in the hardest spot possible. But it is what it is. But hunting other places, just even sitting, like in Kentucky, the terrain was better. The environment was better. The deer were obviously bigger. The habitat was just better for them, which is what made them grow so big.
Yeah. It's amazing how different it is once you get out of where you're used to going and you get an opportunity to go somewhere else, just how different the hunting is, good or bad.
Sure.
It's an eye opener. But so that's what we're kind of talking about today. We're obviously going to cover some of your most recent hunts, but we're going to talk about some of the gear that make or like kind of a non-negotiable for you.
Okay.
And we'll kind of cover those things and, see what is, you always have to have on you. And we'll talk about early season, mid-season, and late season, which I think we're late season where some of the gear is more important than early season. But before we get into all that, so last time we did this podcast, which has been a minute since I've had you on here, Matthias, I think that's how you say his name, Fullerton. We discussed him, right? So I just read an article from World Archery actually this morning that Matthias Fullerton became the compound men's world #1.
Wow.
So he's crushing it, man. PSE. So he obviously shoots for PSE. I think he shoots the Dominator Duo.
I think so.
Or the Duo
what,
X. I can't remember which bow he's shooting or what he shot for this.
It's a compound one.
It is definitely a compound bow.
So we'll say that.
It is indeed. But he's been on he's just been pretty, as far as I can tell and what I read, very dominant.
Just a tear. He's just on a streak.
Very young too.
Yes.
And absolutely crushing it with the PSE bows, which is important. PSE is getting some recognition from that, and he's doing a really good job representing.
Well, I mean,
clearly.
Yes, absolutely. But bow of the year, 2 years in a row. There's something to be said about that.
There is. I mean, there's a lot. I think PSE with the new CEO, Tom, who is an incredible individual.
Yes.
I sat down and got the opportunity to talk with him and pick his brain. And I think PSE is doing everything right. They've got some really good shooters representing them. They've obviously done very, very well these last couple of years with bow of the year. And now they've got this new CEO in place. To me, it looks like PSE is coming strong.
I think so too. And it's well earned. Well, it's due.
Absolutely.
We've been shooting PSE bows for 3, 4, 5 years now for me anyways.
Yep.
Off and on. And it's just like I keep going back. There's just something about it. It's just.
Yeah, indeed. And like I said, there's a lot of really great options when it comes to bows out there. I will not knock any of them. There's a lot of great manufacturers. And I think a bow really it's the individual's got to really determine what is best for them. But, with what PSE has done and then what like Outdoor Life, Field and Stream, these different articles and reviews that they've done. I mean, it just really highlights how strong of a contender PSE is for a lot of people when it comes to the accuracy side of things, the draw cycle, the tuning capabilities that PSE has. I think this coming year is going to be big too.
I hope so.
So have you seen the new bow?
I have.
You have? Did you shoot it?
I did.
Yeah. It's
I was impressed.
I was very impressed. So the new bows drop October 16th from PSE. And I think people are going to be very impressed. There's already a lot of speculation out there. There's some hype behind them. And I think it's going to be a good year for PSE.
I think so too. And it's not, I mean, I don't even know how to put it into words. And the one I shot was only at 58 pounds. Yeah. And it was just, I mean, I think good. Yes,
don't
the
say
EC2 cam is smooth.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I don't know how, and we talk about this all the time with other brands, is how do you get even better?
That's my question.
How do you keep raising the bar? But it's done.
I mean, all the bow manufacturers do it.
Yes.
I mean, every year it's always, and I will say this, right? People will say, new bows, there's not something new every year. And yes, they are small changes, subtle changes. But when you go back like 3 to 5 years, I think is where you see the big leaps in technology. And it's interesting. And it's crazy to me when I sit back and look at this, and that's always been a question, like, how do they always come up with something new? And like I said, it's not always something massive, but there is always something that is new.
So I read an article, and I'm sure that it's the same across the board, that Matthews, they're like, limb shift technology was in the works for like 5 to 7 years.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It's constantly like, okay, this may not come out next year, but how do we improve upon this to make it in the future?
Right.
Let's keep going. There's just there's the testing that all of these guys do is just insane.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
I would hate to be under that kind of pressure.
But there has to be realistic expectations, right? So you get to the pinnacle, I think, of where we're at now, and you have to say, okay, we understand as a company the changes are minimal and may not even be, astounding, but they're going to be something changed. We're going to make this a little bit better for you, the consumer.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. I think there's always something new, something interesting. And again, all the bows, great bows, sure. Very capable platforms. It really comes down to the individual behind them. But I am very, very excited for the release of the new bows from PSE. I've already had people messaging me, when can we get them? What are we looking at? And I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
They'll be here before you know it. And so the drop date is October 16th. And I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. And I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy these new bows that they're coming out with.
I think so too.
So
I'd love to have one in my hand already.
Oh, me too. I'm bummed I don't have one right now to do some testing.
I'm surprised that you do not.
No.
Honestly.
So.
I was, going to Ohio. The Mach 30 is going with me. So that's mid-October.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be there during the drop date, but I'll run the Mach 30 because it's tried and true.
Dude, yeah. I've had my Mach 30 it's like 3 years now. It's a stellar bow that I keep going back to. And obviously I've got the Mach 33 as well, which is what I'm actually hunting with this year. But the Mach 30, as far as like a whitetail, like specific bow, it's hard to beat, man.
Yeah, and I beat the crap out of mine.
You can. They're tough too, man.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I will give PSE with their bows is how well they stay in tune whenever you're rough on them, right? Because that's always a concern with a lot of people is, I'm going out on a hunt out, the western part of the country or the western states, and, I'm going to be away from civilization. How tough is this bow? And I can assure you that the PSE bows, from everyone that I've talked to and dealt with, have had nothing but good luck when it comes to durability side. Mm-hmm. And that bow really holding a tune, which is critical when you're out away from everywhere and no bow press.
Right. Yeah. I haven't had to mess with mine at all.
So I will drop this little piece. I'm still running the stock strings on my Mach 30.
So am I.
So you are?
Yes.
So that's, I think 3 years, which I would never honestly do, but I did it just because I wanted to just stick with those strings and see what I can get out of them, what kind of life I can get out of them, and see how well it stays in tune. And I go back and I put it through paper, and I'm yet to lose any poundage on it. Initially I did. I had to retune the bow a little bit. It came out of time a little bit, but thus far I have not had any additional issues, and the bow shoots and
I've had to twist my strings.
Have you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm just got to shoot so much.
Yeah.
It dropped down to, I think, from 72 to 68. 60.
That's kind of normal, 4 pounds.
Yeah. So I twisted the cables up and then recheck timing, tune all of that stuff. And surprisingly, as long as you do the same to top and bottom, it stayed perfect.
So how many times have you had to do that, though?
I will only do it once. I will not twist them up again.
So you've done it once since all the time you've had
I've still dropped. I'm down to 69 point something pounds right now.
So you're due.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're going to run them through the rest of the season, though?
Well, I have to now at this point. I'm going to. I'm not going to. I leave for Ohio the 10th.
Yeah.
So, the clock's ticking, and I don't think I can even get strings in before then.
I'm sure we could finagle something
And
for
then
you.
try.
But they just wouldn't be settled, so there's that issue you run into.
Yeah, so I'll run them the rest of the season, and then go to the gas strings.
Yeah.
Same.
So, all right. So let's talk about the year side, right? You've done a lot of hunting already this season from North Carolina. You've been to Kentucky. You've been wildly successful in both states so far. You've got Ohio lined up in October. So you're getting a lot of time in the woods this year, it seems like.
Yeah.
And you do a good job managing that with your home life and work and everything else. I'm always impressed to see it.
I'm not allowed to go out tonight.
You're not?
No.
Oh, well.
That's
there's got to be, it's
bad.
Monday. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, the wind's bad anyways.
Yeah.
So
it's perfect.
I was
I'm
like,
not going out.
I'll be here. I'm yours all night.
Yeah. I wanted to go, but for you, I won't.
Yep.
Hopefully she doesn't listen to this podcast.
No, it'll be way later. So it'll be fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get over everything. But so we're in the early season right now. Right. And dude, I don't know. We had this like, false fall already, the weather was beautiful, right? It was cool. Days were like in the 70s. Now it's back up to like 80s and like low 90s, and it's super hot. And I don't think gear in early season is there's a few pieces, but are quite as critical as like when you get to late season, right? But there are a few pieces of gear in early season that I rely on heavily. And I wanted to see for you kind of as far as early season gear, aside from obviously your bow and release, which you texted me last night, which I was like, all right, I'm getting a new guest. You're not going to be able to dive in this with me.
Podcast over.
Yeah,
That's
podcast
what I need.
over. Yeah. But like, what is some of like early season, what is some crucial pieces of gear for you that are like non-negotiables that you have to have every time you're in the woods?
So for here, like hard gear, not like prep stuff, anything like that, it would be a Thermacell.
Thermacell.
Yeah, just because it's where I go, I hunt the bottoms a lot. I get in the swamps, and it's just nasty. So that Thermacell is key.
So with the Thermacell, have you ever had any issues like with like, as far like, scent's a big thing, right? Mm-hmm. And Thermacell has a very distinct smell.
It does. To us.
I
think.
Yes. Have you ever had any issues running it where you felt like that was the reason you got busted?
No.
Yeah.
So I hunt out of a saddle, and I use the Latitude gear strap around the tree with the bite hanger, and I take on one of the loops. I got S-beaners all over that thing. I hook the Thermacell on the front side of the tree, and the wind is always in my face.
Gotcha.
So it's just blowing right back onto me.
Cancer. Just breathing.
Well, I try and put it lower than my face so I'm not breathing it in.
Almost, dude, with the weather we've got, though, you've almost got to put it right here where you're just inhaling this thing. Like,
yeah, but I try to play the wind. The wind here is key. Everything. I was not in Kentucky. I don't. Yeah.
Hold on. What do you mean? What was not in Kentucky? Like it didn't matter as much? It didn't seem like. Isn't that weird?
Didn't care.
So I would agree. So the deer in eastern North Carolina, very skittish. Mm-hmm. They're like a bunch of little crackheads running around, right? Just on edge. They are, man. They are super on edge. I don't care what time of year you're in the woods. They are super on edge, super high alert. I've had the same experience when I go to Kentucky. The deer seem just more laid back, more relaxed.
It was weird.
You can get away with more.
Yes, very much so. And I was like, well, because they had a couple stands set up already, like, hey, you can sit here, you can sit here, you can do this. Well, I can't sit in a stand, like a ladder stand with my back. I'd rather be in a saddle.
So you set up your own, you hung your own stuff.
Well, I put mine because I initially went into a tree And as soon as I got close to climbing height, I was trying to play the wind full of ants, like red ants. Like, I was like, crap. So I got all my stuff down, and then I ended up going just above the ladder stand. So I used the ladder stand, hung my platform over that, and then it wasn't the greatest wind, in my opinion. I was like, I would never hunt this tree because of the wind. Right in. No problem. I was like,
It's interesting.
37 minutes into first light of opening day.
Yeah.
And I was done.
How did that make you feel though? Did you feel like, cause you've killed some good deer on, like we're talking about on your own, where you've done all the prep work,
Right.
you've got out there, you've put in the miles to get there on a boat.
Yeah.
You're coming in. Like how did that feel, that Kentucky deer feel versus like your normal, or like you doing everything yourself?
It was a lot more emotional.
Really?
Yeah, it was. It was a lot. Well, I mean, it's the biggest deer I've shot to date.
Yeah, but
You know,
I mean,
and it was still in velvet.
Yeah,
I've
it was.
never, I mean,
yeah, but you've killed like deer in their habitat that you did all the work. To me,
Sure.
that seems like that's a greater feat. I mean, you killed North Carolina deer, good North Carolina deer,
Yeah.
coming in through the swamps, navigating on this boat that's going to capsize.
no. It's only because of me, right? If I put all my gear in the back and it wants to like wheelie because I put a massive motor on it, it wants to come over the back a little bit. But I put a bilge pump in, it's fine.
Yeah.
It was different. It was a different feeling.
Gotcha.
You know, like it's hard to explain because I mean, I like you said, I didn't put any work in. I did all this, you know, got there, set everything up, and then it was like, okay, you just go back in the morning. The guy was like, hey, here's the keys to the four-wheeler because there's a bull in that pin that you cannot walk past.
Yeah. That sounds like Kentucky.
Bro, he was like, it chased me down.
Yeah.
He goes, that's why I got some broken ribs. I go, the bull got you? He goes, no, but I'm not as spry as I used to be. And when I tried to clear the fence got me.
Jesus.
Yeah. But so I ran the four-wheeler all the way down and then, you know, got off, walked in and just waited. And there were a ton of raccoons sitting in there in the morning. Yeah. I think one doe, I mean, I could just see the shine of her eyes, took off, and then it was like, okay. And I sat and watched them all through the gray light in the morning, watched. And then I was like, okay, yep, I can see clearly now. Everything's going to happen.
Came in, worked out perfect. And you were running, you said the weather was hot there. Obviously, it's early season.
So,
was it the same as it is here in North Carolina?
No.
Okay.
No. It actually was, I had to bring my jacket, like a pullover.
Yeah, but that week was a little bit cooler.
It was.
Yeah.
It was like lows in the 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, until you're like adrenaline spike and then you're like crash and now you're freezing. You're like, oh crap. Well, luckily then a doe came in and I took her too. So it was fun.
So,
but geared Thermacell.
I mean, like that's your number one, like early season.
Well,
so, because I'll tell you, one of mine is, how do you say it? Permethrin. So
that's prep. That's like pre.
Okay. So
right. So I spray everything down. That's why I asked like hard gear on me.
Gotcha. Okay. No. So I also, so that was a big one for me. I misunderstood what you were saying. Yes, that's a big one. The permethrin, I think is a must. So like, even if like me and my little boy went out and just go walking in the woods covered in chiggers, like they're so bad right now.
I'm tore up right now.
Yeah. So that stuff actually is like coating all your gear down on it is a lifesaver for me early season.
Yep. And
it even works really well for mosquitoes.
Yes, it does. Just don't put it on your skin wet.
Yes.
Unless you use the lotion. So I've got the lotion too, the Sawyer's lotion, because it's amazing.
Huh.
So, and I'm just my own person. I'm a genius.
I know.
Right. So when I go to clean the deer that I shot on the base, I took all my camouflage off. Once I got in the truck, got it to the cleaning station, I was in, my Crocs and shorts and a t-shirt because it was so hot. Well, I still had to run to the gut pile. And when I did that, I didn't have any permethrin stuff on.
Oh.
And chiggers got all over my legs.
Yeah.
Like ate me up.
Yep. That's how we were. Just walking in that tall grass, man.
That's it.
They cling right to you.
Oh, God, it's horrible.
The worst thing about chiggers is they typically go for like your underwear line and like sock lines.
Yep. Sock lines. That's where it got me.
Yeah. Mine were all underwear line. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The best.
I only got a couple up around there.
Yeah.
But then I just read this thing, put fingernail polish on it.
Yeah.
My wife's like, don't ruin my fingernail polish.
Gotta get the clear fingernail polish.
Yeah. Well, she's like, don't touch it. I don't want.
Okay.
Yeah. So then she got me this tube of New Skin, which it's like it's like super glue for like cuts, but it's more medical stuff instead of super glue. But it smells horrible. So here I am laid out with my Hoochie Daddy shorts on in the living room, and I smell like a horrible nail salon. And my daughter walks in and is like, what did you paint your fingernails with, Dad? I go, not my fingernails.
My skin.
Yep.
Oh yeah, dude. It's brutal because if you don't have that, I think Thermacell. So like I hunted this weekend, I didn't use a Thermacell, and I got absolutely eaten alive. I think gear like that just makes the hunt that much more bearable, right? Because whenever you're out there, like you could gut it out, but you'd end up a little bit more fidgety, right? You're trying to constantly swat these things away. There's a little bit more movement that goes on. It makes your hunt a little bit more enjoyable.
Sure.
I think where you can get out there so that, I mean, you're not ready to leave right away.
Yeah. So it's not, I wouldn't say it. I mean, it's not a must have, but it's definitely a creature comfort.
Yeah, I would agree. Big time.
But you know what I have gotten so reliant. There you go. On my cell phone.
Oh, dude, me too.
Just for a map.
Yeah.
Right? Because I go in a lot by water, right? Based on the wind. So I have to park my boat. And I don't want to lose that thing.
Dude, could you imagine if, like you were talking about the other day, how the water was gone, right? The tide went down way low, so you had to pull your boat out. Could you imagine if you came out and your boat was gone?
There's no other way to get back.
I know where you hunt. There's no way.
So I have to, I mark my boat where it's parked, and I rope the crap. Every rope I have goes around a tree or an anchor, something, right? And then I mark my location, start my tracker. Well, I get confident coming out of the woods. I got my headlamp on, I'm cruising. I'm like, oh, I know where I'm at now. Boat's right here. I walked past it the other night 3 times, and I was like, crap. What? I mean, and I'm so far out, there's no other option. I'm not swimming back. I was across the river. I mean, it took me 20 minutes on the water to get home.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
You're way back there.
Yeah. A lot of it was slow motoring through the creek and, that stuff. But
it's a lot faster than swimming.
Oh, yeah. Especially with all that gear. And then I lose my gear.
Just float your ruck.
Yeah. Not that. Not with those sticks on and the platform and
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. So then I would agree. We talk about Thermacell, Promethean or whatever it is, and then a cell phone. I think for a lot of people, right? So like reading terrain, like maps and stuff is critical. And I think as a society, we're relying on our cell phone for everything, but being in the woods, especially when you're in an area you're unfamiliar with or in the dark, it's so easy to get turned around. Like I'm a big believer in a portable battery.
Yes.
Backup. And then this is for all times of the year, right? Especially if I'm hunting somewhere where I'm in pretty deep, so that my cell phone doesn't die when I'm up there just doing nothing like I shouldn't be.
Yes.
Because I use Onyx for a lot of my stuff in and out so that I navigate in and out the way I want to. So I'm not haphazardly busting through the areas that I'm hunting. And especially if you're hunting somewhere new, man, it's so easy to get turned around in the dark. If you don't have your phone or you don't know how to read a compass or navigate terrain, you get lost in a hurry.
Even with a compass. So for instance, the first night the water went super low, that whole bank looked different.
Right.
Because the water was gone.
Right.
Last night I came out of the woods and it was super high. Like I was knee deep in water getting back to the boat where I cruised in and it was like, maybe ankle deep to where the Crispies were perfectly dry.
Right.
Not getting home. They were on the boot dryer all night last night because it was just, but I guess it's all part of it, but even a compass.
Yeah. Dude.
Like I know how to read a compass. I can do all land nav graduate.
It's not going to be comfortable though, getting out of there.
And the portable battery pack is a must have. So A for my phone and then B for my headlamp.
Yeah.
Because if your headlamp dies, because I've got the Peaks crazy headlamp, you can charge it.
So interesting. So I went back away from a rechargeable headlamp to a battery operated, and I carry extra batteries because mine kept dying. And so I had one of the BioLite ones, which is awesome. It's super bright, and you can obviously you could run your red light, you can run your white lights like a spotlight or a floodlight style, which is cool. But what would happen is, so this actually happened after I shot that deer last year, right? I went to turn my headlamp on and it had been on in my bino harness and it was dead. And I didn't have time to I could have sat there forever to try to recharge it.
Yeah.
Right. Absolute nightmare tracking that deer. I was using my cell phone, and your cell phone puts out no light when it comes to tracking.
Not when it comes to that. No,
at all. So from there, I moved back to a battery operated headlamp. I use typically like a Petzl or something like that runs on 3 AAAs. And I keep backup batteries in my actual bino harness, for 1 for my headlamp and 2 for my rangefinder. And it saved me because for whatever reason, some of the buttons on these headlamps, I end up turning on in my actual pouch and I drain it. And then I've got to put new batteries in.
So this was a big like selling point for the Peaks headlamp for me. It's got a lock on the button. Huge. You like have to depress it for a certain amount of time to get it to come on.
That's
like
a seller right there.
Intentionally have to do it. And it's got a huge battery pack that sits in it, so it lasts forever.
Okay.
And it's got, I think it actually uses the same battery as my my wicked light that I use for hog hunting.
Oh, cool. So dude, that's a selling point right there, man. A lock on it, because none of mine have locks on them. And I have multiple times activated them in my bino harness, and I went to put it on and it's like,
yep. No, it's got a lock on it. So
that's smart.
Yeah. I was like, well, crap. Because the same thing happened to me. I went to go use my headlamp and I was like, well, this sucks.
Yeah, this is exactly why we do these podcasts, because I learn something new all the time. That is totally worth it, and I will probably be investing.
It's a little expensive.
I mean, but it's a one-time buy though.
It is, and it's got. I mean, the battery pack on it's huge, and it articulates. It does literally everything I want it to do.
So, and I would say you're similar to me in your gear approach. And it's not, everybody's not like that. I'm a big on buy once, cry once, right? Especially when I know something that is going to be utilized and I rely on it.
Yep.
So there's a handful of things, and a good headlamp I think is worth the investment. And same thing with like your bow, your broadhead selection and all of that. I'm a big believer in buying something that's going to last, spending the money on it, and I mean, it'll last you forever. Same thing with you. It comes to your stand and stick setup.
Yeah, that's especially safety.
Yeah,
safety stuff is key. You know, the ropemen's are a huge safety aspect to make sure those are in working order. I go through them every year, check the springs on them, make sure they're good, and then the ropes themselves, my saddle, looking for any frays, any burrs, any of that stuff. So, but the headlamp it's key,
dude. Without light, buddy,
yeah,
you're going to have a bad time.
I'm sure the comments are going to be like, you guys need to get back to being nature and this. And I'm like, okay, well,
so
we have technology. Why not use it?
I run a red light for most stuff. I will. So I'm big on navigating as much as I can without light. Like if you have the ability, but some places it's just too dark.
Yeah.
Like to get out
in this canopy of the swamp.
Yes. Yes.
And then you're stepping on those cypress knobs are just, I mean,
it's a hazard.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just gotta be nimble. I'm like a nimble fat guy. You know, that's all it is, you know, you just slide right off the side of it. But I just don't want to fall and have one of those go into me.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So do you hunt any farmland?
No.
Okay. So I was talking to Mr. Bobby. Do you know Mr. Bobby Cowan? Older gentleman. He's been hunting since like the 70s. Right?
Sure.
Tons of experience. He's 70 something now and still gets after it. Awesome dude. But we were talking about hunting farmland, right? And there's a lot of drainage ditches that are dug out.
Oh yeah.
And drainage ditches are like 7 to 8 feet deep, some of them. Well, if you've ever hunted field edges or gone through where the drainage ditch is to get back into any of the woods or whatnot, and you have to come back and cross it. So one of the times on one of the properties I was hunting, again, I don't remember what happened to my headlamp, but it was not working, or I had lost it or something, or I was just trying to navigate without light, which was probably what I was doing. And I'm going through and I'm coming through the woods, and there was one of those drainage ditches, and I didn't see it very well apparently, and fell all the way down in it. And I'm sure if I had a little bit of light so I could see in front of me, it probably wouldn't have been the issue, as big of an issue as it was.
Yeah.
But that thing was full of water. Awesome. Yeah, it was great. It was great. I've had experiences twice with drainage ditches. One in the middle of the day, trying to cross it, and then the other one was at night, and both times they were full of water. And the time
and it's
at
not
night,
the best water.
Oh, dude, no, it's disgusting. It's like stagnant.
And it smells good.
Yeah, and it's all the runoff from all the fertilizers, manure, everything that spray on there. So God only knows what I've ingested.
Yeah.
Health.
That's it.
Health.
Preach it.
Yeah, dude, a headlamp, critical, man. Have at least one. It's honestly not a bad idea to have,
I have
two.
two.
Yeah, okay.
I have the old school like black diamond just tucked away. I don't even know if it works. But I have it. Yeah.
Weight.
Well, I mean, it worked when I put it in my pack.
Right.
Because I have a plethora of stuff that I put in there, but it's just, that's headlamp is key.
Yeah. The only other issue I have with like a rechargeable headlamp is when it does die. And if it dies when you're walking out and you got to recharge it, it's not instant. That's the only thing I like about battery operated.
I think, and I could be wrong, I think if I plug mine in and just like strap my, I don't know what it's called, the dark energy pack.
Yeah.
Put it into I think it'll work if it's plugged in.
Okay.
I think it'll just go direct power from that battery source.
So you're set then.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Cause that's a big thing for me. Like too, like once it dies, I need it right then.
Yeah, of course.
I don't got time to sit and wait 45 minutes for this thing to charge.
No.
So if it has that capability, man, that's totally worth it.
Now I'm going to check. I'm almost positive it does.
Yeah. Cool. Worth having.
Yeah.
So critical. Again, I think when we look at a portable power or battery pack is a good rugged one. So Dark Energy makes some good ones that we use. I know there's a handful of other ones that I've had.
Yeah.
I think like Samsung makes some good ones.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah. That are just, you want something that's waterproof for the most part.
Yeah.
Or resistant so that it can survive the elements.
Yeah, because I have one that stays in my pack all the time. I check it probably once a month during the season just to make sure it still holds a charge. Or if I did use it, then I'll plug it in right away.
Right.
So, but if I don't use it, it just stays there and holds a charge really well.
Yeah. Yeah. What about as far as like a kill kit? Do you have a kill kit?
I do.
Okay. So when we talk about a kill kit, something whenever you shoot an animal, you can take and break that thing down, right? Got it. What do you run in your kill kit?
So I've got the Outdoor Edge knife with the replaceable blades. I've got some latex gloves. I've got the butt tool. I've got that in there. And then what else is in there?
Do you have a drag or anything like that?
I've got a rope that
yeah.
I just leave in my pack. I've tied a ton of knots into it to where I've got two huge loops that'll act as a backpack strap and then a carabiner on it. So I just loop it and hook and go.
Gotcha.
I use my tree saw for the chest plate. If I have to gut a deer, it's too big for me to drag. I'll just use my tree saw, cut that out, and then use everything else. I've got my I stole this from Rich Froning. I watched a podcast with him on it. He put his Montana knife, the Speed Goat 2, he hooked it into the back pouch of his bino harness. I've used that knife more than anything. Like I get stuck in vines and I'm like, it's right here. I just cut through those vines, I'm gone. And it's like, I can't, like, holy crap, you know, just having it without having to dig through my pack or anything. It's just hooked right into my bino harness and just the handle sticks up and it's in a, you know, hard case. Yeah. So it's not going to hit me.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything.
So
I run a bino harness. You obviously run a bino harness. I run a bino harness too with my binos in the front, but I run a set of pruning shears in the front of mine.
Okay.
Because I find that the number one thing I use going in and out is pruning shears.
Yeah, that's smart.
Like that's my number one. I used to run it in the pouches on my saddle or in my pockets, but I have to get to it so often that I just put it behind my binos now and I just trim through everything. I think a good set of pruning shears is like a must.
Yeah, I have them. I don't know where they're at.
Okay.
I let my wife use them for like gardening stuff. And she's like, yeah, put them back in your toolbox, which I may have moved them as well, but I hid them from her.
Hid them from yourself.
Yeah, so she wouldn't use them on her gardening stuff, and now I can't find them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think those are critical, man. For me, I don't carry a saw though.
I do.
You do? You use a saw a lot?
A lot.
Really?
Ton. So just because if I get into a tree and I play out shot angles, right? So I'm like, okay, if I need to be here, I like to get as high up in the canopy as possible. I'll trim the small things down. Like if it's the size of my wrist, I'm not going to cut it down.
Right. Whole trees.
Yeah. I will move a little bit lower. But if there's, fingerling size, something that the pruning shears won't get through, that saw is just cut right through it. And then if I have to cut open a chest cavity, it'll cut through bone in a heartbeat.
So it doubles up. You can use it for 2 different things.
Yep.
That's smart. So is there anything else like early season or that you always have? Like,
I mean, early season, no. I mean, I only because of Kentucky, I have a pullover in my bag still.
Gotcha.
But that's just rare. The boat ride home last night was a little cold.
So let me ask you this. What about as far as like stands and stick setup? Mm-hmm. Do you run the same setup for the entire season?
I do.
So what do you run?
I got the Trophy Line Hyperlight sticks, the best sticks I've used.
Really?
I love them.
They're your favorite?
Absolutely love them.
So I've got them as well. I don't dislike them. I did when I texted you. I was angry.
Yeah, you were.
I was trying, dude, I almost threw those things across the yard.
So if you don't condition that am steel,
you have to.
Or I found if you loosen that Schwabish knot just a little bit, it's butter. Yes. And then.
But so I still, and I've been using them this season, and I've gotten used to them. They're starting to break in. I'm like, okay, they're not quite as bad.
Yeah.
And I did figure out how to put an aider on them, which worked well.
Yep.
My only problem is I like a Versa button better for my sticks because I like to, one, be able to wrap my am steel around it, half hitch it, cinch it, and then pull the sticks down, and it's secure. It's very easy, very fast for me. And then when it comes to attaching an aider, with the Versa button, it's easier for me. That's the only drawback I have for the Hyperlights. But I like the Hyperlights because of how flat and how light they are. So I went from a tethered 1-stick, which is, again, incredibly light.
Sure.
It's got the Versa button, a nice Versa button on it, which is my favorite, to the Hyperlights, which I like how they stack better and they're quieter, in my opinion, when it comes to, 1, deploying them, 2, packing them in and out. They just stack really, really nice, and they are incredibly quiet without having to over tape them up.
Yeah, I don't have any tape on mine.
They're super quiet.
Yeah, 0.
I did run on the inside. I ran a little bit of Velcro.
Oh yeah, so I do have a little bit on the top part of the standoff.
Yes,
to where you put them together, so it's not loud.
Yep, that's what I did, and they're quiet.
Yep, I love them.
Yep. So you're gonna run those all season.
Oh yeah.
So and you stand on you saddle hunt.
Yep.
You use a platform. You stand on a platform all season.
All season.
What platform are you running?
I just got the Latitude, the Profile XL.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Yeah. So I came from the original tethered single, the small one, right? And I was like, man, this thing, if it just did this, if it just did that, and then Latitude came out with that XL with the standoff, the angled standoff, money.
Yeah.
I mean, I can stand that thing all day long.
So I went from using a saddle platform majority of the time to I went to an actual hang-on platform. So I can do like that hybrid approach. Which good and bad. I don't think you just have to find what's more comfortable. I notice I do sit a lot more just because I have a habit of fidgeting. I notice if I sit, I'm a little bit stiller. I don't move quite as much. I do. Yeah, I do. But I also like that it gives me the ability based off where I'm hunting in the tree that I'm hunting that I have options, right? I can sit if I want to, if I need to sit back and cover, or I can just flip the seat up and I can, in the platform, I'm using an XOP retrograde or a Cold World, which they don't make anymore, unfortunately.
Yep.
They've got new models that they've come out with, but the platform's still plenty small. It's just as light as a, saddle platform, but it gives me options. So
sure. I
kind of like that approach. I go back and forth because I do have an Onyx platform that I'll bust out every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Those are great.
Yeah,
those are absolutely great. I just don't like the weight of them.
Yeah, it's a little bit heavier.
A little bit heavier, just because, and the shape of it is weird because when I put it onto because I use the Trophy Line Plateau pack.
Yes.
So
which is like an H harness, right?
Yeah. So I just hook. There's two straps right on the top, and I just put my platform right in there and just let it hang on my back. So if it's not, it doesn't sit right. It hurts when I'm cruising through the woods. So I just want it as flat as possible. The Trophy Line platform is great. It's just not big enough for what I wanted.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I don't typically run a pack early season, right?
Really?
No, I don't, because I notice I end up taking more stuff than I should, and I take a very minimalist approach where I'm hunting at, anyways. Right? It's not far from where I live currently, because I'll carry a bottle of water in a side pouch, and then the other essentials that I need. Everything else either fits in cargo pockets or one utility pouch that I've got or my bino harness. But that's the thing I like about my hang-on platform is I wear that as a pack, right?
Yeah.
I've got straps on it. My sticks attached to the actual platform. I can wear it in, and it's got like a little L. So whenever we transition to more of like late season and cold, I can attach a pack to that if I need it. So it works well, in my opinion, for that.
Do you ever run into the issue like where it's very time consuming hanging it? So I tried to do the same thing. I had the retrograde also.
Oh yeah, because you sold it right away.
Yeah,
because it hurt your back though.
Yeah, I couldn't. The seat wasn't standoffish enough from the tree, so it was like I was leaning forward. I was just not comfortable at all. And I was like, if anything walks out, I'm totally screwed. I can't do anything right now. I'm like, Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon, where he's on the toilet for so long he can't move. I was like, oh crap. But I don't have that issue with the saddle.
Right.
I've got the recliner strap also. I can run that if I need to sit back and take some weight off. But other than that, it's...
So you were just talking about hanging it. What do you mean?
So when I hung that, the retrograde, because it's I put 2 straps on it.
Oh, double strap everything, buddy.
Yeah. It was kind of just cumbersome getting it into there. The seat kept wanting to flip over, and then it was just like, okay, I got this one strap down, and then you have to, really cinch it down, pull the platform down, and then you got to run the second strap around the bottom. And it was just like, this is I don't like this way. Take it way too long.
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. You got to develop a process for it that works for you, and you're going to make something work if you enjoy the setup of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So for me, the way I set mine is I take, and it is annoying sometimes too if your seat flops over and it's like tink, and you're like, oh great, even though I've got it taped off. But I've got pretty good at kind of mitigating that. But what I do is I run a strap around my top post first. I cinch that down. I put a little bit of pressure on the top with the seat, cinch it down a little bit further. While keeping the platform actually up, I put the second strap on, cinch that down, and then I cam it over, and I don't have any issues. But it is a little bit more cumbersome. I will say that a saddle platform is maybe a little bit quicker, and you can get in, as far as like getting the right angle on a tree is easier because it doesn't have that big long post.
Right.
So there is that.
So do you take it off when you get to the tree? Like hang sticks, put the pack back or the platform back on? So
here's my process when I get to a tree that I'm going to hunt. I'm like, okay, this is the right tree. The first thing that I do is I pull off my platform that's got my sticks on it, and I pull the sticks off the platform, and I throw the platform back on my back.
Okay.
Then I hang my first stick. My other 2 sticks go on an S-beaner that's attached to my waist. And then I go ahead, throw my lineman's belt around the tree, and I start my climb. I'll climb up, I'll hang each of my sticks. Then when I get to my top stick, then I pull my platform off my back. I put it on the tree, attach it, cinch it down, cam it over, and then I climb in, and then I attach it.
So you're only running 3 sticks?
I'm only running 3 sticks, correct. Okay. 2 to 3 is what I typically run.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've got 4.
You go, dude, so where I'm at, I don't know, like it's not open enough. I'm almost too high with 3 sometimes. Really? Where I'm at. So the properties that I'm on are super thick. Like there's not a lot of open bottoms. Like in Kentucky, I will probably run 4 sticks.
Yeah. So if I get down to a bottom and I only run 3 sticks, I'm like eye level with the deer.
Yeah. See, I don't have that problem where I'm at.
Yeah.
But do you also run an 8er on each of them?
So I have 2 8ers.
Okay.
So I run an 8er on my first one, and then an 8er on my third one.
Interesting.
So I run 8. So my process is it's very similar but different. So I get to the tree, I don't put anything on the ground.
Right.
The only thing that touches the ground is my boots. I unhook my sticks from the bottom of the plateau pack. I take my top one has an 8er on it. I hook it on my right side. Bottom one does not. Hook that. Hook my first stick on the tree. Does have an 8er, and then I go head height with the second one.
So you hang 2 sticks before you even get off the ground?
Right away. Even if it just hangs there, it's loose, I can move it when I'm there.
Gotcha.
So I get on my first stick, and then I just go boop, boop, move the second one to as high as I want. Third stick then has an 8er because I don't want to be on my 4th stick super high with an 8er.
Right.
And then
it's only a couple more feet. Well, it's a mental thing.
Well, yeah, for me, that's half my height.
Yeah, it's a mental thing.
Yeah. So, like last night, I was right in the canopy, and I was 22, 23 feet.
Oh, okay. So you're still not that high.
No.
Okay.
But I was sitting right on the back side of the hill that run down to the river, and then everything else. I was still probably only 12 to 14 feet above the high line that I was looking at.
Yeah. I can really stretch out 3 sticks pretty good if I have 2 to 3 8ers on them.
Yeah.
So I'll stretch myself. I'm over there like pulling myself up, stretching my leg.
Yeah, so that gets super difficult in the winter
Oh yeah,
right? With the more clothes you have on.
So let's transition to winter then, because you bring up a very valid point. It is much more difficult to climb in the winter. Eastern North Carolina here, it doesn't get cold until like the very end of the season, if it even gets cold. Like sometimes we still have Christmas where we're wearing shorts and stuff around here. But Kentucky, any other state, it seems like it's a completely different animal because cold is cold there, right?
Oh yeah.
And navigating your gear becomes a little bit, and the way you set your gear up becomes a little bit more difficult because you're wearing so many more layers. And you've got to be able to pack and carry those layers in, or, like I said, pack them in and then put them on whenever you get there so you don't get too hot.
Right.
So the late season creates a whole host of challenges that you don't consider in the early season, because one of the other things too is, right, we're big fans of heavy poundage bows or higher poundage bows, right?
Yep.
70, 80 pound bows. It's a pretty normal for us, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, try to draw that back when it's negative 12 degrees and, you've been sitting
I'll never
all day.
see that.
Exactly. So that's, again, where it comes down to you where you're hunting, your style of hunting. And I get that from people who are like, I don't need a heavy poundage bow. I'm sitting in, negative 10 degree weather here and I'm not getting that back. And that makes total sense. Same thing with the way you approach your climb, right? You were talking about stretching your sticks out further in the winter. It's much more difficult.
Crazy.
It's way harder because
I've gotten to the point where I've set those 2 sticks down or on the tree. And then I'm like, well, I got to redo it.
Yeah.
Because my foot cannot reach this stick.
Yep. So I had, and I actually got this from a guy. His name's William Dawson. He's a local guy here who hunts. He hunts Croatan in public land pretty hard, and he's very successful with it. And he's big on the saddle hunting side of things. Like he really nerds out on it. And he always, anytime I see him, when I see him, I know hunting season's in because he always comes back around that time of year. So I always get to talk to him, and he was showing me some new stuff this year. But he's the one that turned me on to a fixator that's attached to your person, which is cool. It's fisheye am steel.
Yeah.
You carabiner it to like your collar or your bino harness or something. It's fish-eyed, and then you can take and wrap it around itself and use it on your foot, and then take the actual fish-eyed am steel and hook it on the Versa button and step up.
Huh.
It's slick. But that's where a Versa button is. You got to have a Versa button to do it.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, it's great for the one sticks. Not one sticking, but the actual tethered one stick or any of the sticks that have Versa buttons. It's fantastic because you don't have any aiders hanging off of your sticks. So you can adjust the height that you need to step up using the fish-eyed am steel for whatever's comfortable for you. So it's a very slick system. It works really well, and it's great for me in the wintertime whenever I'm in, thicker pants or I've got layers on and my leg only goes up like this high.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Huh.
It's a pretty cool system.
Yeah. That's different.
It is different. And like I said, he turned me on to it. When I bought my first saddle, I bought it secondhand. I got it from him, and he showed me how to use it, and I used it for a long time. But now that I don't have that Versa button, I can't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just use the regular single.
That's what I'm using now.
Aiders that are just, and it works perfect.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm using now. But again, if you don't hang at the right height, you don't have that ability to adjust it. You got to redo the whole thing. So that's the drawback. But once you do it enough.
Yeah. No, I've got it set pretty good where I know exactly, where my stick needs to be on my body when I hold it to the tree.
Right.
So. Yeah.
So moving into later season, like how does your gear transition? Obviously Thermacell's not as big of an issue, right?
So I will, yes, I'll take a Thermacell with me. I'll turn that sucker on and stick it right in my second layer, so it keeps my core warm.
Bro, just get some heated hand warmers.
Those don't work for nothing.
What?
Yes, they are horrible.
Oh my!
And then I end up leaving them all over the place. They end up in the washing machine. Like they are
done,
dude. They're everywhere.
So I ended up getting, one of the big things for me, depending on how cold it is, like when I hunted late season in Kentucky and it gets cold, like real cold. And for me, at least,
sure.
I'm not used to that climate. And I ended up taking my youngest boy, Gavin. We went and hunted last year, and it was cold for him too. But I ended up getting some hand warmers. They work okay, but they don't put off a lot of heat like you're saying. Do you just run it without an insert in? That's smart.
Absolutely. I take the pad out of it, and
you're not breathing in that cancerous.
Yeah, no, it's just heating up that plate, and it warms up my cord, and then I can put my hands in my front kangaroo pouch of my hoodie, and just right there, it's like, yep.
I take that back. That's actually pretty smart. I didn't think about removing the pad right away. That is smart because the hand warmers work great if you hold onto them and squeeze them. But as soon as you don't, it's like they don't put off enough heat. Same thing with hot hands for me.
Yeah.
Like hot hands, like once you're cold, hot hands for me, they just don't ever seem like they get warm enough. Nope. I guess they're all right. I mean, last resort, but they've never been that great in my opinion.
You almost wonder if they're working.
Yeah, half the time I'm like,
on?
half the time I'm like, I'm squeezing them. I'm like, man, are these ever going to warm up? You're shaking them.
Yes, you're doing that awkward motion out in the woods. Yeah, sometimes two of them, you're like. So I just turn my Thermacell on and throw it into the kangaroo pouch of my hoodie, and then just let her eat.
You know what, which is cool too for like the cold weather, right? Obviously, you need a good layering system, right? I think that's if you're going to invest in quality camo or like apparel, it should be catered towards like colder climates if you're going to be hunting those, because skimping out on base layers, man, it'll ruin your hunt. That and footwear.
Yes.
So like a quality base layer. I like merino wool stuff. It doesn't stink. You can wear it for an entire week or two without it retaining any odor, and it works well for like moisture wicking, and it just keeps you warm. I think it works. It's totally worth investing in. It is expensive, but it's a one-time buy. I think it lasts for a long time.
I hope so, because I just bought some of those hollow socks.
Yeah.
And they are phenomenal.
Yeah. I run Darn Tough socks.
Yeah. I haven't come across those.
We sell them.
Oh.
I sell them at my shop.
I'm definitely looked at socks then.
Yeah. No.
This was just one of those things like I think it was a buddy of mine was like, you got to try these socks. Because I sweat profusely.
Yeah.
And I'm in the swamps all the time. And I hate wearing mud boots because I got into a pair of Crispies that we actually talked each other into buying at a Total Archery Challenge.
That was an easy sell though, dude. We had nothing. We were so unprepared.
Yes. They got us. But those merino wool socks in those, I mean, I went through the swamp the other night and my feet were completely dry. The boots were caked in mud and water and all that, but my feet were still dry. A lot of it was to the boot, but when it got over the boot, that sock still wicked all of that water away from me. To where, it was crazy. It wasn't miserable. I mean, up to my mid shin I was in the water.
Interesting. Yeah,
But my feet didn't feel wet.
Dude, if you take and your feet get cold on a hunt, especially so if we're talking like whitetail hunting where you're sitting in a stand and you're not moving and your feet get cold, dude, that's a game ender. Yeah, dude, that will ruin your hunt. Like you'll be like to the point where it's like you almost can't get down.
Yep.
Like you're like, I'm stuck here forever now.
Just going to wait till the spring.
And you know, one thing I learned, which was really changed my like colder weather hunts was I was not wearing the right size boots.
Yes.
So forever I have always bought shoes too small. I don't know why, but there was never enough room in there for the air to circulate. So I went to Fleet Feet and I got my feet measured and because I was doing like ultra marathons and half Ironmans.
Yeah.
And I needed new running shoes. And I went in there and I'm like, yeah, I need to get some new running shoes. I got on this thing. They're like, this is the size you're wearing. They're like, what size are you currently wearing? And I was wearing like a 9 or 9.5. They're like, you need to be in a 10.5.
Yeah.
So all my boots were too small. So my feet and whenever I put on thick socks, it was too tight. I got a pair of boots that actually worked and I went and hunted cold weather. And I guess the way air is able to circulate in there, my feet, I did not get cold and freeze to death and have to get down.
Yes.
Dude, buying good boots. Yeah, good boots and then making sure they're sized correctly is critical if you're going to be out in cold weather, sitting still, not moving.
Oh, yeah. That is, I learned that lesson the hard way very early. I think we actually talked about it a few times. You know, being able to, I buy boots a half a size too big.
Oh, yeah.
On purpose.
Yep.
Just to be able to put those thick socks on.
Which is interesting. It's honestly, it might be not half size too big. It's the correct size. Because your feet are swell, right? Which a lot of people don't take into account, especially if you're covering a lot of miles. If your feet are going to swell and and their boots are already sized perfectly,
then there's no room.
There's no room. So the other thing that I did get that seemed to work really well, my son used them last year, were Arctic shields to go over top of your boot.
Really?
So whenever it's real windy, the wind can't cut through it.
I gotcha.
So it helps retain heat in there. And again, sitting still on a platform for hours on end, it just helps keep that air circulating around the boot. So they work pretty good too. It's a lightweight addition. They just go over top of your boots.
Yeah.
And they help keep your feet warm.
Almost like a leg gaiter.
Yeah. Dude, so I'm a big believer. The longer you can stay comfortable and get yourself up set up comfortably, the easier it is to sit longer, right? Which is what you need to do, especially when weather is difficult, whether it's too hot, it's too cold, it's raining. You need quality gear that is going to allow you to sit through those scenarios so that you can have the most opportunity. And the same thing with wet, like good quality rain gear, a must, especially when it's cold.
Oh yeah. So I can do cold or I can do wet, but I can't do them together.
No, dude, that's tough.
I've been down that road way too many times, and it's just, especially if the wind starts picking up, and now it's just not conducive to anything. It just may as well get down because it's going to ruin my hunt.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm with you. It's easy. It's like, you can gut through those times, right? Especially if you're out on a hunt and you are, it's not a local hunt. You're gone out on a trip, but gutting through it's not as fun.
No. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'll do it. But
right.
if I have the option, I'm going to say, okay, is this worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze at this point? Or do I just chalk it up and then is the rain going to let up? Because if it is, then that's peak movement. They're going to be on their feet. And then I'll gut it out. So there's a lot of scenarios that get played through the head.
But you got to have the gear in order to get through those scenarios.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Quality gear.
Yeah. That my rain gear stays in my tote.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to invest in some new stuff. I'm about due for as far as rain gear goes. But again, late season, that's where a pack comes into play for me. And I still try to get like the smallest pack I can, just so I can pack my layers in, because I'll roll my jacket up walking in, I'll bungee cord it to my stand, and then anything else I need to put inside, like if I'm running hand warmers, those Arctic shields, or I'm sitting all day, so I need any kind of snack or water, I have a little bit more options. Yeah. But yeah, that's typically where I'll bring a pack in.
Yeah, that's what I love about that plateau pack. It's it's small enough I can carry it all season. Yeah. And if I have to, there's straps on the top. If I have to put an extra jacket on it, I just strap it to that. Yep. And then the rest of it it'll fit all my camera gear, it'll fit everything. Yeah. As long as I pack it right.
I just love the idea of being slick. Like especially whenever it's the weather's bearable, right? It's early season. I like the less I can carry, the better. I don't
like anything in my pockets.
I'd rather not carry anything at all. I'd rather just go with just a bow and my release, but I know I'm not going to have the success. Yeah. I got to get up in a tree. So I'll tote that stuff in, but I like a bare minimal approach going into the woods. Cause if not, I just end up with more and more stuff I'm toting around.
Yeah. But if we were in horrible shape and we couldn't carry the extra few pounds,
it's not the weight. It's navigating through the woods. I just don't like anything else on my person.
Oh man, my setup is so streamlined.
Yeah, so is mine. Like I said, it's almost nothing.
Yeah, well, exactly. But mine is almost nothing. It's just, because I want it all inside of my body frame line. So that's why I went, with the sticks I got, with the pack I got, the platform, everything. It's streamlined.
Yeah, I think a critical aspect of looking at things is, one, buying gear that works in sync, right? Mm-hmm. So you can stack it and wear it in, and it's low profile. It doesn't make a lot of noise. There's not a lot of movement with it. And then the other aspect of that is packing in a manner that makes sense, right? And there's an order of operation in the way that you pack your gear, which I think is overlooked by some people. And that's gear familiarization that is a part of that as well, right? So you pack in the order of which you're going to utilize something. So whenever you get to the base of a tree, there's an order of operation in which you take your pack off, unclip your sticks, attach them to your body. So it's almost second nature. So you're not fumbling, guessing, and searching. So you can scale that tree a little bit quicker and a little bit quieter.
That's why I start climbing in July.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is in sequential order. Even if I have to take my pack off to cut a limb or something, I know that I can take that pack off, put it on my lineman's belt, and I know right where my saw is.
Right.
And it's easily accessible. Cut it, go back and go. Yeah. There's no question of where my stuff is. Even after a harvest and everything just kind of goes haywire, I take a step back, repack everything, make sure it's in sequential order the way I'm going to use it, and I put it back the exact same way.
Right. Yep. Nope. I think that's smart, man. You've got to take that approach if you want to, just to make it your life easier, right? So you're not forgetting things, because that's easy to do. If you're not used to utilizing the gear, the season's coming up again. For example, you've been off all season and you go out there and you're like, dang, I forgot my pruning shears. Yep. Or, and you need those. or whatever it is. Maybe something a little bit more critical, like your lineman's belt. And then you're trying to climb without a belt, which is incredibly dangerous. So,
well, you just use your tree tether. You just have to keep moving it.
So I only carry a lineman's belt.
What?
Yeah.
You are just crazy.
Well, so I look at it like this. It doubles as my tether. So when I'm scaling that tree, I just have my lineman's belt.
Sure.
And then when I get to the top of my platform, I turn that into my tether.
I don't like to be disconnected from the tree.
Dude,
so
some people are going to really hate that and say that's incredibly stupid. And I get it. And there's risks to everything.
Sure.
I mean, with whatever you do, there's a risk. I mean, yes, I'm disconnected for a second. Somebody's going to have something to say about it. I get it, but there's a risk in everything you do. I mean,
so when I get to my platform height, I've still got my lineman's belt on. I pull out my tree tether, hook that up. Then I reach into my lineman's belt pouch and grab my gear strap, hook that up. Then my lineman's belt comes off. So I mean, because it's all stacked in that pouch in that order for that reason.
Right. Well, maybe I'm not as smart as you, but
I'm not smart by any means.
That's just been my approach, and that's how I've done it for the last few years, and I like the system.
As long as it works for you, and that's what's so great about everything that we do. Like the daisy chain aider. If it works for you, right on, brother. And I don't have to, necessarily like it or use it or whatever, but I mean, it's whatever works for you, and you're doing it as efficiently as possible. That's what's great about saddle hunting. It's just, so many different avenues and approaches, or, if you want a one stick, but it's not for me. I've tried it, and I don't like suspending like that from the tree.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll agree with you. I think there's a lot of, that's again, why it's important to go out and test and try things out, from the bow that you're going to shoot, to the arrow you're going to shoot, to the tree stand, to the sticks, whatever it is, you got to go out and find it and find a system that works for you. And there is no right system. There's a ton of ways to do this. And there's some guys that are very creative with it that make things work.
Oh yeah. All my gear is like a smorgasbord of different manufacturers and but it's the gear that I like that works for me, and it's what I've gotten accustomed to and really streamlined with. So I'm going to stick with it. Yep.
No, I agree, man. There's a lot of great things. I think it's important you test for yourself, especially in different scenarios and different, different weather. What works early season may not necessarily work late season if where you hunt gets really cold. And I found that out with, trying to just the way I hang my steps, right? It's a little bit different, or my sticks. It's a little bit different. I've got to make them a little bit closer. The way I use my aider is a little bit different just because of the layers. So it's just important to go out and test and try. But as far as we see a lot of new people getting into bow hunting and things, is there, a common mistake that you see with new bow hunters?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of it. A lot of people just go with, I want the name brand, right? I want the name brand. I'll try this. And it may even, and we have experienced this firsthand, you and I. Oh yeah, I really like this, but I want to go with this because this is the, mecca, or quote unquote, the whatever it is. But if you don't try everything, we're all different. Every one of us are different. It's going to work different for you. That it's going to work different for me. Like, our systems are wildly different.
Yes,
but we're doing the same thing.
Right. The end goal is the same.
Sure. You don't have to. The Gucci gear is nice, but you don't need it right away. Don't buy something that's exponentially out of your price point to say that you have it, A, and then B, end up not liking it, because now you got to try and move that piece of gear. Luckily, like for the XOP retrograde, I won't say it's overly priced. It's a pretty price point, budget friendly option, because I wanted to do kind of a hybrid, and I didn't like it. So I just turned around and sold it exactly for what I had into it, because I sat in it one time. Just happened to find a guy that wanted it, and he said, "Yep, I'll get it. I can get it right now today."
Yeah. I think it's important too that people don't overbuy like you were talking about. I mean, and go off with too much gear right away. You need to look at your, kind of what your goal is. And then it's very easy to get wrapped up in, like, example, listening to this. I mean, we both have different opinions on things, but people get wrapped up in it and then they overspend, you know, and they end up with more and more and more gear, thinking that more gear is going to make them a better or more efficient hunter when that's not the case, right?
Right.
Your good hunters can do it with just about anything you give them, right? It's woodsmanship skills that they developed over time. It's time in the woods, and it's understanding hunting and how animals move and the environment that they're in. And I think that's often the most neglected piece of gear for most people is what's between your eyes, right?
Sure.
Understanding terrain and actually how to move through the woods. It's very easy because there's a lot of really cool stuff out there, man. And it's fun. It's fun to buy stuff, but you can really overbuy quick. And then it just becomes, you're just carrying more stuff than you need.
Yeah. If you don't touch it, if you don't use it, and I'd say 3 sets, take it out. Don't use it. Put it away. But the most, like you said, the most important thing I think you can invest in is time.
Yes.
Time perfecting your craft, getting in the woods, understanding the way that the thermals work, angles of approach, getting in on the wind, looking at, you know, terrain features, topographical maps, looking at those things. That's what's going to set you apart from everything else. It's just time. And because you're never going to get it back.
Right. Yep. You got to spend time in the woods. You got to develop and hone those skills. And I think that's important. That's what makes the good hunters that we see, the guys that are really successful, you know, not just those one-off kills, but like every year consistently. And they develop a system. And you'll notice once a lot of the guys who develop a system, they don't really deviate. They're not chasing that new thing. It's like, hey, this is the setup. This works for me. I don't necessarily need the newest sticks. I don't need the newest platform. It's okay. It's going to shave, you know, a couple ounces. In the big scheme of things, how much does that matter?
Right. That's like what I was saying.
Yeah.
We're in well enough shape that a couple ounces for us going 3, 5, 7, 10 miles even is not going to make that big a difference.
Right.
So I'm okay with carrying the extra weight because I know I can pack it.
Yep. I think the big thing, develop your system, develop what works for you and apply it, and then train that system so that you can do it almost in the dark, essentially, because you're going to have to at some point.
Thoughtless. As long as you can do it thoughtless, it's second nature. That's what's going to make it or break it.
Yep. I agree. What do you think? So is there anything, this is my final question, is there any overrated piece of gear that you've come across?
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, it's, oh gosh, I would say, and this is going to go out on a limb here, a fixed blade broadhead. I think they're extremely overrated for what they are. It realistically comes down to a well-placed shot. It's the person behind the gear. So but I've found that I don't prefer a fixed blade broadhead. I do a lot of engineering work, and it's a wing on the front of your arrow that I don't necessarily need, because we shoot field points so much. We know how they fly. A good mechanical is going to fly almost identical to that field point. So I don't want to change. People do broadhead tuning and this and that and the other. Well, you're changing everything. When you broadhead tune your bow, you're changing the dynamics in which that bow fires. So if you're going to start twisting and turning things, you need to now run it again through paper with a broadhead on it to make sure you're getting that bullet hole. But now when you go back to that field point, understand that you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, because that point of impact is going to change.
Yeah, but if you broadhead tune correctly, it should be minimal, right? As long as your bow is set up and tuned correctly, there should not be a lot that has to go into broadhead tuning. It should be minimal adjustments within the rest in order to bring those two together. But one thing I will say that I've seen, I think more people probably should shoot a mechanical based off their technical understanding of how to tune a bow.
Correct. So that's where I'm getting into it, because not everybody brings that bow to you.
Right.
To have it broadhead tuned. They just start putting twists into the rest, running it way out of tune, doing X, Y, Z because they want that broadhead to fly straight.
Yes, I agree with that, because I will go through and I'll read some questions that we get, or I'll read some forums or some Facebook posts, and I've actually had people come up to us and ask, they're like, hey, I'm shooting this broadhead. Do I need to adjust my sight to that broadhead? We're like, no. That bow, have you ever had it tuned? No. It's like, man, we got to start this process over. Shoot a mechanical broadhead. Let's start there. Let's start with a basic tune. Get the bow shooting like it should. Let's put a mechanical on there.
When you
just
look,
so
easier. Yeah, you have this guy who you look down the string of a bow and the arrow's canted so far to the left. Well, that's the way the broadhead flies straight. Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
You're losing all of the performance and efficiency out of the bow that is designed to be capable of.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think for the most people, but obviously the guys that are good hunters and in tune with their equipment, and they opt for a fixed blade broadhead, there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure,
I think there's a lot of guys.
I just think that's the overrated,
the
most overrated piece. The super heavy single blade fixed broadhead. I think that's the most overrated, biggest argument ever.
You'll never win that argument.
No.
Depending on who you are.
But that's my opinion. That's what I think is the most sought into.
Right. One of the things that I see with gear is maybe not so overrated, but buying stuff that maybe has a particular application, but it's not relevant to what you're doing currently. So I'll give an example of that. That's a pack, right?
Sure.
We get guys that end up with like mainframe packs to go out on an eastern whitetail hunt, 500 yards from the road. And I think what happens with that is, yes, that pack is relevant if you're on a western hunt, you're miles away, you're carrying a lot of gear, you're establishing a base camp, you need to pack something out.
Sure.
Right? It has its place. But not necessarily for the eastern whitetail guy who, again, is hunting 500 yards from a vehicle or a road or something like that, and they don't got to pack a lot in or out. What happens is we see guys buying these big expensive packs, and they just end up putting stuff in it. Before they know it, they've got a water purification system in there. They've got, compass, fire starters,
for an afternoon
and
hunt.
A full meal. And yeah, it's because you get this idea, like, I've got space for it. Let me put something in it. I got to fill it with something. And I think that's what happens. So that's one thing that I see from people is they end up with packs that are bigger than what they actually need. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But we see a lot with guys coming through the shop.
Well, you probably see a lot more than anyone else. Yeah, obviously, owning, operating, running a shop, you see these things on a daily basis. And it's really not our place to tell you what to spend your money on. No.
And that's where we try, like, my goal is to, like, kind of, ask questions and then let them decide for themselves. Like, cause maybe it does make sense for them because maybe they're, deep out in some public land and they got to pack that deer out. And you're like, oh, okay. So you're not just hunting off the road. You're way out there. This does make sense. You're going to have to quarter this thing up and pack it out.
Right.
Or you start asking them questions and they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I don't need that. Let's downsize this. Oh, it turns out I don't even need a pack. I just need a small, like,
fanny pack.
Yeah. And then we can help kind of guide them through it. But I think that's where it's important. And, people who have never, are new to this, they're able to go to a shop, whether their local shop, and they're able to ask the guys who have experience, and you can kind of guide them along to save them some money versus doing everything the hard way. Like some people have, buying and then realizing it's not the right fit for them.
Oh yeah. Yep. We all know those guys.
Yep.
That have all the gear.
Yes. I mean, dude, I'll be honest. I've gone through a lot of different gear to find what works.
Sure. That's why I say don't break the bank until you know what you like. That's probably my biggest takeaway would be, like, be budget friendly going into this and understanding, like, okay, I don't need the high end stuff, right? I can get away with a cheaper. Obviously, safety you don't want to cheap out on, but if you don't know what you don't know, and if you don't like it, something you could buy, a $900 saddle and absolutely hate it.
Yeah, that's where you got to be realistic too. Is like, where can you cheap out on? Where do you need to invest the money?
Sure.
And then, like you said, safety is a big part of it. If you're gonna buy, saddles and stuff, you don't got to spend a ton of money, but you need to make sure you're getting good ropes.
Yeah.
Your ascender, so whether you're running some kind of mechanical prusik, you need to make sure it's of good quality. And then your platforms and straps, make sure that they are of quality
and serviceable.
That's the biggest thing, is inspecting your gear and making sure it's still up and running. So you don't, dude, did you send me the video of the guy that fell out of his tree stand?
I don't know. I sent you a lot of them. You don't ever respond to me.
Yeah, dude, I haven't been on there. Sorry. But, so I just saw a video. A guy was in his stand, and it's probably 12 feet off the ground, but this dude flips and falls out, man.
Oh yeah.
And it's just brutal. Yeah. Don't be that guy.
No, I don't. I'm not rubber anymore, man.
Yeah, dude, that's a painful fall.
Yeah. I don't. That's why I'm always attached to the tree.
Yep.
I don't even like aiders.
Yeah. I know you don't. We talked about that before,
but I run them just because it's convenient. It's easier. I'm fast with them. I can,
Yep. Okay. Final question for real this time. So whenever you're out and you do a lot, like you said, you do a lot of, your access is a little bit different than people. You're taking a boat to get in. As far as getting deer out, what's the one piece of gear that you always have to have on you? Because you've FaceTimed me a couple times dragging these deer out. Like, what's your one piece of gear that you...
Rope.
The rope?
Yeah.
Is that how you drag them out?
Yeah.
Drag rope, yep.
And I made it. Like I said, I tied a ton of knots into it to make it like 2 backpack straps. I'll use Onyx again, mark where I left the harvest, run back to the truck if I'm close enough to drop all my gear, and then go back in, hook them up, and then go from there. But I mean, that drag is not fun, especially with a massive deer.
No.
And then you're trying to get them onto the front of a boat, and it's
by yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I mean, so the deer I shot last year with the 14-foot boat was almost 200 pounds. And I was like, I'm not gutting him. I will kill myself to get this thing weighed and everything the way he is. It's just going to be me. I'm not playing this game because I want actual on the hoof weight. Just me being stubborn.
Yeah.
And it was a couple trips. It was definitely a couple trips back and forth to the boat.
Is that with the wedding?
Yeah.
Dude, that was such a good story, man. On a boat, like George Washington crossing the river with a dead deer. Well, there's a wedding in the background.
The big 8 that I shot last year too. I shot him like mid pee stream. I had to stop peeing to shoot him, and then you could hear the film. I continue after I hit him. You hear him, bam, and then it's like shh. Yeah. So the weirdest things always happen to me.
I hear you. So make sure whenever you go hunting, plan on a way to get that deer out. So
yeah,
a good drag rope obviously works well. So I use my actual lineman's belt the last couple of years because I forgot mine.
Yeah. So, you know what I did this year? So I have a sled, right? Like a drag sled, like for like weightlifting.
Yeah.
The metal sled that has nice tubular webbing with actual backpack straps and carabiners all over it. That's in the truck.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, I mean, it's comfortable. It's padded. So, it's a weighted sled vest. And then I can go.
There you go.
It's in the truck. So if I have to go back to the truck, I
might as well leave it in the boat.
No, I probably should. But the boat runs awesome. So I just run back to the truck and get it and go back out.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
The new boat's a little bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, no doubt. I like it. All right, guys, there you have it. A little bit of insight from Mr. Bryan himself on gear. It's always fun to talk about it, different perspectives, different thoughts and processes on why people use stuff. And I'd be curious to hear from you guys. What's some non-negotiables for you? Like what's one piece of gear you can't live without, or that's always on you, whether it's an early season piece of gear, a late season piece of gear, or all season. Drop some comments, give us some feedback. Let us know. I'm curious on your thoughts because there's a lot of great hunters out there with tons more experience than us. I'd be curious to hear from you guys, especially whether you're an Eastern or a Western state hunter. Like, what's some quality gear that you just cannot live without? Drop some comments, give us some feedback. And as always, Bryan, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So that's it, guys. That's another episode of the American Bowhunter, the official podcast of PSE. Thanks for listening. See you guys in the next episode.